All right. Welcome to Bikas Web channel. My name is Bikas and I'm here back again with another video. And this video is again, we are continuing in the same project that we started earlier. And the project is called EasyLink. It's just a name I gave. And the idea is that we'll provide a short, we will get a short URL from whatever the link we want. This is how our final project should look like. So there will be profile, there will be all this list, edit and everything. However, to do it in a simple way or in an agile way, we have been following this agile method here. So in our previous video, and actually if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see there is an EasyLink application playlist. At the moment there is only one video, but by the time you will see this video there will be at least two. So in our last video we did a backing part where you could send original URL and then you will get back short URL, and if you enter short URL it will redirect you to your original URL. So we did that and it was done mostly in the backend server, but today we'll make a UI part for it. And again we will be also building UI in an agile way. So first we will not do all this login, or we don't do anything related to user. We'll just try to have a simple dashboard where you can enter original URL. You will not even enter name because we are not saving it at the moment, or we can send it but it doesn't have any relation with user. And then you will just generate a short URL, and then we will get some data back, and then you can use that URL to wherever you want. Okay, so that's what we will be doing it, but this is how the final will look like. And if that sounds interesting and if that's what you are looking for, smash the like button. If you are new to this channel and you like this series or you like other full stack stuffs, then smash the subscribe button and also bell notification icon. Let's start the video. So we are here in the VS Code Studio project, and here we have a client and we have server, and we have already done something in server and that will be there. However, now we will deal mostly in client. So let's close this server for now. We need to start it once we want to use the API, but for now we will be dealing with client. So let's go inside a client folder, and then I will just do and start. So all we have is localhost 3000 with welcome to Bikas Web, and that's all we had done it. Let's close everything from the backend. Actually, I can even do close all so that we don't need to see anything from server. And then let's actually go inside client folder here also. We have our server running from here in port 3000, and then I will install one dependency, and that will be React router DOM. And if you see in our design, in our final project we will have a couple of routes. At least we will have sign up page, we will have sign in page, and then we will have a profile page, and then we will have something called dashboard, and then maybe we'll have a dashboard /new, or we can just do some conditional rendering. We'll see in that. And then we will have some dashboard list and so on, and then the same thing in our desktop view. So there are a couple of pages we need, although for this project today we may even not use it, but let's try to set it up because that's our goal anyway. So now we have already installed our router, and then I will go inside src folder here and create a couple of folders, and one is components because you know React and everything is components. So another, it's my practice, I like to call pages. Okay, so it's just a practice. So everything that you will be using inside many other places, or those can be component, but then pages are something that you are actually saying like a pages, you know. So this is a login page, sign up page, and so on, and profile page, and maybe, so those are more like a pages that you actually enter URL and then you go there. So that's the only idea, nothing else. You can even do everything in the component, and then it should work because, as I said again, everything is component at the end of the day. So let's go and let's have inside pages. For now I'll just go and create a dashboard. I'll just write dashboard here, and then we'll do dashboard.tsx. Okay, and then for now it's all good. We just have dashboard here. That's one thing. And then we have already our application here which says welcome to Bikash Web. So what I want to do, okay, I'll just change this to small, and then I will go here, and then I will try to do some sort of structuring. So we'll have in our dashboard, we'll have this application bar or nav bar, or whatever you like to call it. For this project I will call nav bar. You can even call it application bar or app bar, and actually let's call it an app bar. So here we will have our app bar component, and then here we will have all in our dashboard page or whatever. Okay, so the idea is we'll try to put everything inside dashboard in router. However, for all of the routes we want to show this. Okay, maybe we don't want to show this. This is pretty interesting case. So in a long run we don't want this to have navbar. Okay, so there are two ways to do that. One is we can have conditional rendering of the navbar, and that should do the job. However, in the login screen, you know what, we might even want to show here in login and show some. So let's still do so that the app bar stays out of our router, and then everything will be rendered inside this router. Okay, so what I mean by that you will see in a minute. So let's go and let's set up our router. So to set up router we have to go to our index where we are rendering our application, that this is our main component. So let's go here, and then I will just do import, and then something from React router DOM, and that something is actually browser router, and all we need to do is just wrap this inside there, and that should do the job. So let's go here and let's just do browser router, and then we'll just pass this here. So this way now React router knows that we are actually wrapping our application inside our router. So route should actually take place now. However, we have to do some setup, and to do that I will create one component that will be route or routes.tsx. so everything we do inside our routes we will set up here, and I need to import a couple of things from React router DOM here, and then those couple of things will come later. And then I want to import our dashboard component, because as I said, that's what we will be dealing mostly. And then the next one is we'll just create main routes. And by the way, I have in my YouTube channel somewhere here you will see there are a lot of actually some videos related to how to do the routing, and there is a whole video called React Router V6, although there is an update, but all this thing what I have done, or at least majority of this thing, should be in use. So you can go and check it out if you don't know so much about route, because we are not going in detail for routing because I have already made a video about that. So let's go here, and then I'll just have a main route. It doesn't take anything, it's just a empty argument, but it will return some things. Actually, you know what, instead of doing return, we can just do something like this, and then we want something, and that will be routes. So we want routes from the React router DOM, and inside routes we can have now as many routes as we want. So for instance, if I go here, and then if I just say slash, and then say that this needs to render dashboard, if I say this, and then of course this is not imported, so let's go here, and this is not path, this is path. Okay, so in theory we should get this when we do that, and we don't get anything. Let's go and let's check it out. Okay, we're not getting any So we have main route. Okay, first thing we need to export this. We can do default export or name export. You can even do export const here, and that might work, but we don't need, because we are anyway using only this. But later when we have permission everything, we might want to do the name export, but let's just do this for now. Okay, so we have exported this. However, we need to import, and as I said, here is the place where we will import our. So now you see here we will have an Appbar, and then we will have main routes. So everything that we are dealing with routes will go under this. Okay, so now you can see when I do like this, we saw routes. Okay, that's good. So our routes are working. So what is the next thing we want to do? Okay, for now this should work, but later when we have login page and everything, we actually have to handle different cases, and then we want this route to be only visible when someone actually enters this dashboard, okay, and so on. But as I said, we will progress as we go, but for now let's just have this. So the next thing is we will go inside component, and then I will go here and I will have Appbar, and then I will have appbar.tsx. Yes, so we have an Appbar here, and then inside here let's give it a class name called Appbar, and then in public folder let's go and let's create something called images. This will be a folder, and then I'll just let's just have something called assets, and then inside assets we will have images, and then inside images I will put that logo. So I have logo here, and then now we can go, and then inside application here we can do a couple of things. So that will be our main route, and then we can have image. I can just do image tag, and then here what I can do is process.env.public URL, and actually I need to put this inside template string, and this way you can get another way is you can actually already have it inside some of this folder called assets, and then you can import it just normally. However, if you have something in public, then you have to access it like that, and then all we need is images, and then we have logos.png, and then let's have menus, I guess so, and then inside menus we'll have something. Probably later we'll have a link from router link, but for now actually, yeah, do we want to have router link, because this will be link later. Okay, that's interesting. So how we want, we can just have, and this is a dashboard, and then also for profile at the moment we want same, because that's what we have, and maybe later we'll give some class name and so on, but for now I think this should do. Okay, so we need to import our application Appbar here, so I'll just do that. You can see we have link there, and also let's go and let's make it some mobile view, because we will go with mobile first approach. That's how we have also designed. Let's just have iPhone 12 Pro. Okay, so at least I don't see the logo there. Okay, maybe something is wrong, and that is we first need to have assets. You can see we have a big URL logo here. Okay, so now Now we need to close this. So let's see what I'm kind of lost here. I'm doing sort of live coding here, so I don't have anything prepared, and I think that's the best way. So you know that my thinking process, how I approach issues and so on. Okay, so I think before we proceed to the next step, I would like to do some setup. So setup means all these colors and text sizes and everything. In Figma I already have some 3 different text sizes and some color. Okay, there is normal and hover, and then there is dark and gray. Okay, so I think we'll just try to set up some CSS, and that I will do by pausing video, because that's just time consuming thing that you can just copy paste it. So okay, so here we have almost close to our design here. And then what I did, I'll just walk you through. So first I went to this FCSS. I have this simple reset. You can search reset and actually do proper reset, but for now this works for me. Just remove unnecessary thing. I imported from Google font these pop-ins, and then also gave this font family here. And then I defined some root variable with primary hover, dark black, basically same thing we had here. And then maybe this color is not exactly here, so let's just go and let's paste it. Okay, yeah, okay, so that's good. Then I just did like some maximum width and then margin auto. So then we have some padding here, and then I just created some S3 and P, because that's what we have been using in most of the places. There are some P with medium, but usually otherwise we have 20px, and then we have some 16px here. Is it 16? I think so, but that's all. So I just did that, and then I went to Appbar. I did some modification. Remember, I added link. For now I removed it because we'll use it when we need it, because I needed to style link, and I thought why to do it now. So then in case of those menu item, I've just done S3 for now, but as I said, later we'll attach links there. And then I have Appbar.css. So here I have basically the padding and all these kind of basic things, and then gave something. So then this looks like this, which is pretty good. So the next thing is in the dashboard. I just need to go here and pass here dashboard, so this also looks aligned. Up next, we can do this input. So we are somewhere here, so we will have a button, and then it will open this sort of thing here, and then we'll have these buttons. So we need to create a button component and then text input component. So we have text input here, and then also inside text input I will also create text input.css. okay, so we will style with this, and obviously there are several approaches. You can have a style component, you can have, you know, class name based component, you have a lot of those. I like to do CSS in CSS. So we are here, and then we need to do something. Okay, first thing, let's just import text input CSS, and then also for these I will give this class name of text input. And then another thing we want to do is we want to have props. So let's do right here. You can even call input props if you are planning to export it somewhere. Additionally, you can even have a separate types folder, but it's better to have the component props inside component, because that way you can see it. So for text input, we will have level, we'll have a placeholder, and then we have different type of text input, password and text, and then we need on change. Okay, so let's go here. So label. And do we want label mandatory? Maybe not. Sometime there can be, sometime no need. Same with placeholder. Placeholder is not something we want mandatory. And then for text we want onChange, and value can be string or normal for now, and then void. Okay, and then type, so we can have text or we can have password. Actually, yeah, so these are our kind of enum. So union kind of thing, it can be text of type text. So if you over here, then it's actually on, it can be undefined. So we go here, and then I will give the props here. You can additionally also do props and then give that props here, but this way we can already take things here, placeholder, and then we have onChange and then type, and by default I can give type text. Okay, so that sounds good. Then let's go here. So what we want is, we want to have a conditional rendering if we have label. So when we wrap this inside boolean, then if there is a value it will be true, otherwise it will be false. If we have that, then we will use label. So label, and then inside label we can even have HTML4. We'll pass something there later, and then this is our label. So this HTML4 is so that when someone clicks in the label, the automatically input field will be activated. So for that, and type is something here. We can already give the type that we have from here, and by default it's text. And then we can have a placeholder, and that can be also something we can get it from there. And then we also get onChange function. So something is missing here. So onChange, so in onChange we want to do something, and we will get event. So that event will be React change event, and then HTML input element. So let's search input element. Okay, and what it does is it will actually pass as props directly e.targeted value. So this way in our text element we will get only the value part of it. You know, here we'll get only the value part of it, and then we can use it. So I think this is almost done in our case, except we need to do some styling. And for styling I will do it and then I will come back. So I'll pause the video. Okay, so I quickly did a very basic styling. I have some text input here, some color here, and then some labeling here. And let's see how it looks. So let's go inside dashboard here. And inside the dashboard, what we can do is, for now, let's just give dashboard in S3. And then we have text input component, and it expects something. So at least it expects onChange. So let's pass onChange, and for now onChange gets this value. Remember, we have that callback. So let's just say value, and then we can just do console log val for now. And then if we go here, you see we have pretty close to design. Not exactly, we need to do some modification maybe, but we'll do that later. So if I go here and write because you can see that it's actually working. Cool. So we created our first well, actually not first, but our one of the component we needed, that was text component. And just for testing purpose, so let's pass label here. Oh yeah, that's the reason. Actually, this wasn't the label, so we needed a label here. So let's go and give username. Okay, so this is the label. Sounds good. And then let's see how it will look if it's not mobile. Okay, it looks full screen, so that's good. And then what else we wanted to test? We have also type. So what happens if we do password? Okay, it becomes password type. That's good. Then we also have a placeholder. Let's take okay, so now if we don't have anything, we see the placeholder. All right, so this input field is pretty good. We can use it. The next one is creating a button, and again you can use Tailwind, you can use Material UI, you can use Bootstrap, so you don't have to do all these things from scratch. But the idea here to show you if needed, and if you are working in a bigger project and you need to customize things, then you need to understand that how will you do it, how will you create your component. So for example, we have this text input, so maybe internally instead of this native input, you may be using Bootstrap input, or you may be using Tailwind, or you may be using Material UI or so on. But still you might need to do something for your project specifically that that library doesn't have it. So in those cases you need to override things. So for that reason, it's good to understand how you can do it. Okay, we have a primary button, that's one thing, and then we have outline button. Okay, so we need to create a button component, and this is where the challenging part of using CSS in a separate file or in the same file comes. However, I would like to create a couple of class names. For example, this can be primary button, this can be primary outline, and then this can be secondary outline. So actually it should be outline variant, and then it should be secondary of outline variant, and this should be primary of outline variant. However, let's go and let's create something. So now we'll go here and we'll create a component. Okay, not component, we'll create a button. Okay, and just like everything, let's also give button.css. Let's go inside button, and then here immediately I would like to import button. Okay, so let's go here, let's import. Okay, so we have button CSS, and then we will also need to define props here. So we'll think of that later. So now here I will give a class name of button, and then now comes the interesting part. Do we want to use div, or do we want to have directly button? And that's also another interesting question, because let's say for our design here we don't have any icons and anything such, so we can actually directly have a button here. However, in your case, you may need to have conditionally sometime icon on left or on right and so on. So maybe you want to wrap it with some div, and then inside there, for example here, you can have basically the same way how we did here. So we can have a button on left, and then we can have button on right, and then we can have actual button component. But for now, what I would like to do is I would like to just have a button, and then I will give this class name of button, and then here I will say update my info. Okay, so this is a button, and then we'll go inside dashboard for now, and then we'll just have a button here. Okay, so this is the button, and the reason why you see everything without border or such is because we have done the reset here. So the border is known, background, everything is known. That's the reason. So now we need to create a first variant, and that is primary. So let's go and create a primary button. So I'll go here in the button CSS, and then I'll have button here. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is I will have button primary, and then we will have also button outlined, and then we will have button outlined primary, and then we will have button outlined secondary, and then here actually we can even have primary solid, and then yeah, then we can have, so primary we can have secondary solid, and then this is outline, primary, secondary. Okay, so these are what I think enough for our case. However, as I said, actually we might even need a text variant, so but we will come to that later. So this is exactly what I was mentioning earlier, that if you have your style already inside component, then you don't need to think about these many classes, because for example we can just design outline, and then for the border color we can just conditionally pass it there. But the problem is in this case we are using our color from the CSS root variable, but if you want to do it that way, then you might need to, but if you want to do it inside component, then you may want to create some JS variable called color, and then give all the color there, and that way you have a uniform way of importing that color and so on. But again, today I'm going to deal with this approach. So I will go and I will try to create a couple of these button classes, and then I will get back to you. All right, so I did something here. I have a button class that almost act like a primary button, and then we have a button primary, and then we have button primary hover. I didn't create a secondary person because at least in our design we are not using it, but that would be a good practice to do, and I can leave it to you. You just need to follow the same pattern. And then we have a button outline primary, and then we have button outline secondary, and then some hover action for door. Again, I'm not going to do like a proper UX design practice, UI design practice with hover color, focus and so on, but it's just that you get the idea. And I think we have all the buttons, so let's go and let's see. Okay, so this is the same as this cancel button almost. Okay, the border is a little bit thicker, but that's about it. Then do we have this, which is a primary outline? So let's go and let's check from here. So if I just do this primary, then we have primary, we can even hover. And then the last one is we just want button primary, and we have it. So we have all our buttons, and then we can now proceed with creating variants and so on. So let's go here, and the first thing we need in the button is label. So this is what we'll replace here, and that should be mandatory. So that's a string, and then we want variant. For now I will leave it optional because we'll provide a default value. However, if we actually wanted to follow a proper way, for example, if we go here and button, so how React Material UI has it, it has all these kind of different variants. So if we go to API somewhere here, yes, then it has variants. So and then it also has colors, and that's how it does the work. So we could have a variant called solid and outline, and then we will have a different color for those. But at the moment we are going to have all these cases as variants. So the first variant will be primary, second variant will be primary outlined, and I'm actually using this way, and it is mainly because so that we can just pass there, or we can change our CSS variable name to that. But let's try this. I have never tried this actually. Let's see how it will work. And then we will have, no, actually what was the name? So we have outline secondary and outline primary. Okay, so let's go here. So and then so this is primary and this is secondary. Okay, so these are our variants, and then we need one more thing, and that is on click, because it's a button, so we want it. And what it does, it just fires whatever we pass. Okay, so now let's do the same thing here. React FC and then button props, and here we'll take a label and variant. As I said, by default we will make primary variant, so if we don't provide anything it will be primary. And then we have on click. So now we will go here, and then this will be button label, and then we are going to delete this, and then we'll wrap this and then make it a template string, so that button will always stay. However, we will get a variant from here. So this is exactly what I meant. So we can now use this class, or like I said earlier, you can have your CSS inside the component, and then you can do whatever you want to do it. And then I will also pass on click, and that will be on click. All right, so we have a button, and obviously we will get some problem here in dashboard because we are not passing any props. So for now we want on click. I'll just do test alert, and that is not enough because we also want to have here. So let's print all our button for now, primary, and then what else? We want to give variant. So in this case the variant will be primary, and then let's do thing here. So now we will have primary outlined, and then we will have a secondary outline, and then let's just check this primary. No, what was it? If we hover here, we can see outlined primary, and then here we can have outline secondary. So now let's go and see if I do something like this, and this is what I wanted to test. So it's not working as we want it, and I don't know why it's not working the way we would like this to work, and maybe something is missing there. So let's go to our button. Here we are inside here, and somehow this variant is not working the way we want this to work. The class name is not being passed. So let's go to inspect here. I'll come here. Okay, so we have button outline secondary, and do we have typo or something, because it's actually getting the class name, however it's not. Okay, so let's go to CSS here. Okay, now I understand what's the reason. So if you see, it's actually we need to pass this here, and it's missing that. So we can do like that, and then we have everything. So we have secondary outline, we have primary outline, and then we have primary. We have also hover, and those hovers are confusing because if I hover this, it looks like this became primary, and if I hover this, it becomes that primary outline, but I did that way. Alright, so we are still not in our main function. We have been dealing a lot with design here. So now when we have all our steps figured out, the next is actually doing the job that matters. So let's delete these two here, and then let's go here and do outline primary, and then let's try to create this one. So you don't have any sort URL, create a new URL. All right. So we'll go inside a dashboard, which we are. We don't have to provide anything here. So let's go, and here inside a dashboard, we can do something, and that is give dashboard container. I don't know what we can call it. So we just want something here. Okay, so we want dashboard I'll just give this name. I don't know why, but okay, I'll just, sorry for taking time. Empty state, I'll just say empty state. So that way what we want is we want p tag, and then I'll just copy this. Okay, and then we don't need this dashboard here, we don't need a text boot here, all we need is this button here. That sounds good. So okay, so we can have some styling there, create something called dashboard CSS, have it here, and then margin top will be, I can just say ADPX width for now 100%, margin auto, and then I can just do import. Okay, yes, so we have that. However, it's not center aligned, and okay, understood. So it should be here, and okay, so let's just copy this, and this is why I like this kind of CSS approach here. So we have that, and then we can even target specific things, for example buttons and so on. So for example, if I go here and then if I go to p tag and say margin bottom, and then I can have 16 px. So then we have this beautiful looking UI just like here. And then the next thing is we want this option, so create a new sort URL. We can already have this default, but just for this one. So let's go here and let's do that. So now we want to have some state somewhere here. Okay, so URL add view. And as I said, this is something that when someone clicks there, we can actually even take them to a new route called new, but that's a little bit overused for route, and for that reason I would like to do it here. So by default this is false. However, this one here we will have on click, and this on click we will set to true. Okay, so that's good. Then in that case we need to have a way not to show this empty state, because it should be conditionally rendered. So if we don't have, then only we want this. We can even remove this separately. So we will only show this if that button is not clicked. And what I meant by that, if we go here now, if we click, it's disappeared, because then we will show something else. And then if so, that's good. And that's what I meant by like moving it to something else. So inside dashboard we can have a component, and that component can be this add new view component. Okay, so inside dashboard here, let's remove this text input for now. Actually we might need it. So inside here we can do a couple of things. So already here, let's go and let's create a function. And the function will be render empty state. And then all that dots, it will return this one. Okay, so we have render, I can just do const. Okay, so we have render empty state, and let's do that way. So then that will be one way, and then another is render add new URL. So that will be another component, and then we can have dashboard add new. So that one there. And how does that look? So we need original URL, we need a name, and then two buttons. So we need text input, and we have already created text input. So we need two text input, and we need two buttons, and then we need two buttons. So that's what we need. So this text input is original URL. So, and then what we need, we'll have to attach some on chains and so on. I will do that. Then another one is name here. So that is name. And for button, we have generate short URL. So for button, this one is generate short URL, and this one is cancel. And then the next thing we want to do is for button, we need cancel. So what happens in cancel? In cancel, we will show this again, or at least we will make this false. So for now, on click, set so basically whatever this does, it does the opposite. So okay, so it does false, and now this one is good. So generate URL at the moment on click, I'll just do something so we didn't get that warning, and we can see and we can move on. And for here at the moment on change, we have val, and let's just console log val for now. And the idea is that just don't want, let's provide some placeholder. Okay, and then the name is okay. So we have these, and now we don't need to have this one here because we already have that. So now what we can do, instead of this, we can have something like this. And if we have that, then we want a render new URL. If not, we want render empty state. So you see now we have this one, and then if we cancel, we go there, we can cancel. So you see that's what we wanted. And to work on this, all I would like to do is I'll go and make this true for now, and then we have this. So these are good, and then we just need to handle these two things. So let's go, and here I can do dashboard, add new, and then actions, and I will pass these two over there, and then I will also take care of this. So just a while, I will pause this. So I will do some CSS so that they look somehow okay. Alright, so this looks almost close to this one here, except the button variant. So let's go and change it. Okay, so I'll just copy this one from here. Although this looks pretty good, not sure why I don't want this, maybe in the dashboard, but let's just keep it like that. I think that looks better. So we have those options, and then when we get something, we just need this actual created. Okay, that is actually to edit. So we are not editing now because we don't have user, we don't have any relation. Sure, we can do some local storage and such, but if we are going to do something with user relation anyway, why to bother now? So all I did here, if you see here, if we go to dashboard CSS, I just have this empty state, and then this margin bottom per p. Okay, that was already done. So here I had this new, and then for all the div I have margin top 16px, and then for actions I have like some display text, and then for action buttons I have this. So that should do the job, and it looks pretty okay. And we can type something here, and actually if you type, we should be getting something here, and then we should be getting something here. That's good, this good, this good. All right, so we have all our basic ingredient done. So the next thing is to create an API call. Okay, and that sounds interesting, and there are several ways of doing that. And in my YouTube channel, I probably even have okay, so here this what's before making API calls. So I have done a video about how to do API calls properly, but for this exact reason, we might even do directly here inside our use effect. However, later when we attach our users and everything, we'll try to make this better. Okay, so now let's go here, and that will be for server, and then I'm just gonna and start so that our backend server will run. So we have that server running. That's good. URL payload, and that will be React. So what we need original URL and name. Okay, so let's go here. Let's have a default state, and just to make sure that we have everything good, let's go to our src here. We have types, so original link and name, this is what we want. We can even have the same sort of type definition there, but as I said, we will do it later. So original link, so initially we have empty, and then name is also something, we have empty. Okay, so we have empty name, empty original link, and now here in this one on change, instead of console logging, what we want is we want set URL payload. So we want to set that, but we don't want to mutate the original one. So what I will do is I will do so that we will have an object, and then we will do whatever the URL payload has, and then for original link we will pass this payload, and then the same approach. Okay, so we want this to local string, so that way we are sure that we are always getting string. And then here I would like to do basically same. Okay, so what did I do? Okay, so this one here. So here instead of original link, I want name. Okay, so the idea is we can even have some on change handler here, but why to make it why to have useless function there? All we want to do is we don't want to mutate whatever the value it has, because in this case we are only updating original link, but we don't want to update the name, and in this case vice versa. So that's good. The next one is we have to handle the function. So we have data now. Now we are ready to make an API call, and then here somewhere here I can have const. Now I can do this data, and that data, you will see what I meant by that data. We may give type definition later. For now I will just like to call something, and that is make an API request. So how we can do, we can have a function, and I will say fetch. Actually we need to make a post request. Now I get it. So we may do post request also with fetch, but I want to do it with Axios. So let's go here just to Axios. Okay, that's good. And then let's import here Axios. As I said, we will change all these to a better API calling practice and everything, but for now we just want to do our minimal version. So first we want to have post data to API. So we don't need data because we already have payload there. However, here, and this function will be actually async function. And then what we want to do? We want to have try catch here. In case of any error, we want to print that error in our console for now, but we may want to show it to users and so on later. But again, for now we just want to have it there. And then the next one is we need to have Axios dot post, and then it takes URL. So the URL for now is, if you remember from our earlier, and if you don't remember, you have to actually go and watch that earlier video that I have been telling you about. So just this one, and then go here. So we will have this URL, that's where we are making a post request, and then we want to post something, and that is our URL payload. So we will do that, and then this we can have something called data. Actually, I can say URL data, let's say. No, actually, let's change this to so here we can have const data, and then we will have await, because this will take some time. And then when we have data, all we want is set URL data to this data. Okay, that's what we want. And now actually, if I do this, not that. Okay, so because we will also get many other things from there, but that's the data we want, and then it will be set. And then when we have data, we want to show something, but for that we want to console log, and then okay, let's just do this data. So I think now we can call this function, and actually here we can say if not no URL payload dot original link. If we don't have, then we can even say allot please provide URL, and can just have return. Or actually, now let's just have this. So the idea is that we at least want that they need to provide us that, or additionally we can even, okay, for now let's go here. Okay, so we can call this. Okay, so the idea is if we click something, it should show us that we need to provide that first, and then it should actually return. So if that's the case, I'll just do something like that. Okay, so now let's refresh. Yes, and it doesn't call any API call. That's good. So the now next one is we want to have, let's say, this URL. If I pass this URL here and call this Bicas web channel, and if I send this, okay, so we get some issue, and I think that issue is related to course policy, and let's add that, and then let's import course from course. Okay, it doesn't have type definition, but let's see what happens. Okay, so we are still getting that. So do we want to do something? Don't want to do that. Okay, actually we can even keep course like exactly which one we want. So let's go here. Okay, so we are still getting the course, and I think we can add this 3000, add origin to course. So So we have course and then use course, but I want to add whitelisted. So for example, this one to course option. So inside course, we can just go here. And what was it? Origin. So instead of origin true, I can do something like that. And let's try one more time. Okay, we are still getting it. And the course credential, we don't want credential for now. Still getting it. Alright, I just restarted the server and then I got something. So here we have a URL code, and then we have all the created, we have all the name, and I think if we make more requests, it should still keep on giving us the same this HYLN, because that's how we have done. Okay, so I think now this is working pretty good. I needed to restart the server after adding those course option here, and also I moved it here. However, later we have to handle this properly with proper course option and so on. So now we got the data we wanted, and then all we want now is actually well, we even don't need this whole data. We can just say sort URL, and then this can be set sort URL, and initially it can be empty. Okay, so then what we want is here, instead of this, we want set sort URL, and then the set sort URL will be something we need to have a template string, and that is because we want this URL also here. So that's why I was saying that if we save this in some variable, so we can reuse it, but we will do that in later stage. So that's why I'm copying now, and then we do slash here, and then after that we want to get this sort code. If you remember, all we want is this URL code from the data. So we want data.url code. Okay, so now we are getting some error, and that error is expected because it should not go there. So this way we will have our sort URL, and then when we have our sort URL, what we want is, we don't want to show this empty state, we also don't want to show this render new URL, but we want to show something. Okay, and that something is here. For now I'll just do it under here. If we have sort URL, then I will just do for now as 3, and then I'll just put here sort URL, so you understand what I meant. Okay, so let's cancel this, let's refresh our page. Okay, let's cancel this, let's completely refresh, and I think the reason behind that is we have that true, so let's make this false. So now let's check whole flow. So we are here in this page, and then we want to create this, so then we get this original URL. If we don't enter anything, it says please provide original URL. That's good. Then if we provide already existing, because we already have this URL there, and we can give the name anything. So because web, it actually doesn't care, even if we don't give name, you will still get the name back, because this URL is already in our existence in our database, and that's why whenever we want to add new, if it exists, we already written short URL for that. So let's go here, let's do that, and you see now we got this one, and no matter how many times you will enter, we have this URL. So now if you copy this URL and then paste it here, it should take me to this. So and you see we have it here, and that's what we wanted. So if we go to our playlist, and then if I copy this one here, and if I enter this one here, and earlier you see that it actually remembers the name that we saved earlier. Now let's go here and let's say EasyLink Monstack playlist. Let's generate a new, so it should change, and it did. And now no matter how many times you enter, it keeps on giving you the same URL. So let's copy this and then let's paste it here, and here you go, it takes us to the playlist, and this is the playlist. We have only one video now, but after this there will be 2 and more depending on when you will watch. Everything is working as we expected, and if we cancel, we still have this. Why? Because we are not handling that case. We should handle those cases later. We can even have render newly added URL or something, and that can be shown in a nice view, like something like here with maybe copy icon and so on. But that is what we will improve in our later stage. And the next video in this series will be again going to the backend and then handling the user cases and user login and so on. And then once we are done with the backend part, then we'll make another video, and then that will be front end of attaching those. So that's how we will be moving backend, front end, backend, front end. And if you want to follow along, if you want to do everything, here is this repository. So please remember to have this press start, because this tutorial branch already has stops that, and then I will be pushing this today's work also in there. So if you want to see the code, you will go to tutorial branch, but if you want to start and follow along, then you go to the press start and then follow along from there. So it's up to you. I hope today's video was useful for you, and if you agree, smash the like button if you haven't already, and also subscribe the channel and hit the bell notification icon, so that whenever I upload new videos, you will be the one getting notification. Thank you so much for being until this point here and following with me. I hope to see you in next video series. Until then, keep coding. Bye bye.